Alright guys, sorry for my disheveledness. I just came back from the gym, but I wanted to touch base with you guys on how the fourth and final night of the DNC, it wasn't as spectacular as say when the Obamas were there, but obviously this was when Kamala Harris, the fourth night is when Kamala Harris officially accepts the nomination for the DNC. And so they've actually already, she actually already I was gonna say conserve the delegates. She actually already earned all the delegates. They had to do this weird thing. They had to do this like digitally because Ohio's primaries. I think it starts. I don't know. Something had to do with like the when I Ohio like prints their ballots or whatever. They were able to like scoot it a little bit further. Usually they don't have a problem with this deadline because usually in normal times Republicans have their head straight on, but as what's been the per use as an American politics is just like everything has been politicized, even just decency in terms of like, yeah, we'll scoot it back a few weeks, we don't mind, like even that is out the window with the Republicans. So she actually already got the nominee, she got the delegates, she very much earned the delegates. But the last night at the DNC was just an official part of it, was just to like show everyone like, hey, I am Kamala Harris. I am accepting the to be the nominee for the Democrats, and all of this pomp and circumstance going around it. So what we expected and what's normal for the when the like what I was gonna say like Trump's when he was at the RNC, but actually the RNC was just quite like it was just so shitty. Oh my gosh. Let me turn off the AC. It was just so shitty because it was just very like old and decrepit and they didn't really have much pizzazz on it. The DNC had all the pizzazz. Pink performed. Kerry Washington hosted. And JD Pritzker is just, okay, I know he's a billionaire and I might have been watching a few too many interviews with him. Shout out to I've Had It podcast with Jennifer and Pumps because they had him on, and he is just he's one of the good billionaires. He's one of the good ones. Anyway, his excitement. He didn't speak on that night. He spoke on the night before, like just right after Bernie Sanders. But all of the surrogates, all the Democratic surrogates, have been doing interviews throughout the entire convention, and so even though he didn't speak, I'm still getting like glances and flashbacks of conversations that these surrogates have had in support, obviously, for Kamala Harris. But what I really liked about what they did this time at the DNC is they like interject these awesome videos, propaganda, but awesome videos of like getting Americans familiar with who Kamala Harris is, where she comes from. She comes from a working class family, what her upbringing was like, what her family dynamics were like. And this on Thursday was also the 10th anniversary of her and her husband's wedding, which was, I mean, I don't know if you can like, I mean, look at American politics for you. Like, I don't think you can make this type of shit up. Like, this woman gets the nomination on her 10th wedding anniversary. Like, this is like, you literally can't make this stuff up. Anyway, she had a very powerful speech. It really resonated for me. I think the entire DNC overall like brought out a lot of hope and pushed aside a lot of cynicism that I have. And that was like, I'm not unique in that. Like, obviously it was very carefully orchestrated to give off that vibe of like, oh, your cynicism is valid, but we also need to be, unified and getting like put your heads down and get to work, which I totally agree with. But when you're talking about like the whole Gaza issue, what's happening between Israel and Palestine, it's kind of sours the entire nomination event and just the general platform on the DNC. And I think that the way Kamala Harris talked about Palestine was, it was all right, but it was just not. I think that my problem with her talking about it wasn't the just the short amount of time that she spent compared to what she was talking about, like the tragedies the Israelis faced during October 7th, but she just used a lot of Israeli talking points and narrative angles, not necessarily saying that she fully believes in what these narratives originally, were designed to do, but she played into it. And as someone who like wants to think strategically, as someone who's naturally a strategist, I'm I'm kind of holding out hope that she kind of used this rhetoric to kind of like cover her real like agenda and stuff. And she's also, keep in mind, she's also still the vice president. And so if there actually is if there actually are plans to resolve this issue, to and put in a permanent ceasefire, then I'm able to forgive the somewhat inflammatory rhetoric that she was using. But if not, then I guess I'm just regularly disappointed with a politician, which, that's kind of how things go. But it's just really suckish, because if she's like a real Zionist and she doesn't care about Palestinian lives, then it's just a really unfortunate. I mean, I don't want to be making this about me, the voter, but it's just really unfortunate that that's like the hill she's willing to die on. I wish that it could be something else, something different, but that's how it is. I do believe her when she's talking about economic prosperity and really reverberates, economic populist sentiment. I do believe her. I really want to believe her too, so that may also be coloring my judgment. But I feel vigorated. I feel good. I feel enthusiastic, and most importantly, I feel very optimistic, because before Joe Biden dropped out of the race, I could see an all too familiar trajectory of a downward spiral, and not to like sound too like out there, but like the end of an empire. Like, shit's really bad. I've driven across the country. My parents have no idea how bad things are. They think they do, they don't. And currently the way things are, it's just not sustainable. And it's really gotten to the point where I'm like, when's the breaking point? Like, when's... And I think that if the Democrats do not deliver, and like, okay, if Kamala wins and the Democrats do what they normally do, is just like give 13%, just do 13% of their agenda, then I don't know. I think the American experiment is over. Because at the end of the day, if you're not delivering for the people, and Kamala Harris says she's for the people, if you're not delivering for the people, then the people won't deliver for you, and then our country can't deliver for you, for us, for me. It's crazy times, but the Democrats are looking strong. I've never seen the Democrats look so strong. So it's kind of like a catch-22. I think you're wanting something great and brilliant to happen because it needs to happen, but also you look at the reality of how things have been going, and I guess don't hold your breath, but also like hold that breath. Anyway, tomorrow we'll get back to our regular style vlogs, so I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll see you in the next one. Anyway, peace and love. Bye. It's a daily vlog.